Here. Welcome to the Agoura Hills City Council meeting of October 9th, 2024. Please silence all cell phones and other electronic devices. If you wish to speak or submit a written comment, please complete a comment card for each item and submit to the city clerk prior to the public comment portion of the item. I'll now call this meeting to order. And we start our meetings in Agoura Hills with a land acknowledgement. The city of Agoura Hills acknowledges that we occupy land originally and still inhabited and cared for by the Chumash Nation. Descendants of Chumash still remain, and we honor and pay our respects to their elders and various groups that make up the past, present, and emerging as they continue their stewardship of our lands and water. Excuse me. We have a responsibility and commitment to elevate the stories, culture, and community of the original inhabitants of the city of Agoura Hills, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to live and work on these ancestral lands. We'll now move on to the Pledge of Allegiance, and I will defer to Cub Scout Pack 227.
Attention! Will the audience please rise? Color Guard advance. Hand salute. Those not in uniform, please put your right hand over your heart. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Color Guard, post the colors. Color Guard salute. Two. Color Guard dismissed. The audience may be seated.
Thank you so much, Cub Scout Pack 227. We really appreciate you coming in here and leading us in the flag salute. So keep on coming down. Thanks so much. We're now going to move on to roll call. Madam Clerk.
Good evening. Councilmember Anstad?
Here.
Councilmember Klein-Lopez?
Here.
Councilmember Wolf?
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Sylvester?
Here.
Mayor Buckley-Weber?
Here.
Mayor Buckley-Weber, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. We'll now move on to approval of the agenda. Will the maker of the motion and second to approve tonight's agenda please state your names?
Mayor Pro Tem Sylvester moves to approve the agenda.
This is Deborah Klein-Lopez. I'll second.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Will you please take a roll call vote?
Councilmember Anstad? Councilmember Klein-Lopez?
Aye.
Councilmember Wolf?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Sylvester?
Aye.
Mayor Buckley-Weber?
Aye.
Mayor Buckley-Weber, you have approval 5-0.
Thank you very much. We're now going to move on to presentations, and I don't have someone to present it to because I'm going to present it to the group on Sunday, which is the start of Urban Wildlife Week, and the public is invited to attend a wonderful open house at King Gillette Ranch at 1 o'clock this coming Sunday. And in the honor of that, the city of Agoura Hills has proclaimed the next Saturday through the following Saturday, Urban Wildlife Week. And I'm not going to read this to you, even though Madam Clerk was kind enough to give it to me in much larger print. But I can read you a couple of things. You all know that National Wildlife Week dates all the way back to its first celebration in 1938, so this is not new. And it's the longest running education program connecting budding conservationists of all ages to the awesome wonders of wildlife. We have the city of Agoura Hills is situated in a unique environment surrounded by the rich biodiversity of the Santa Monica Mountains. The city of Agoura Hills recognizes the importance of urban wildlife and the need to maintain safe corridors for their movement, such as wildlife crossings, ensuring that these species can thrive in harmony with human development. And the Wallace-Annenberg Wildlife Crossing is in Agoura Hills, and it's a public-private partnership that will help to protect the movement of wildlife impeded by one of the busiest highways in the country, the US 101 freeway. And the wildlife crossing, anticipated to be finished in 2026, will help animals big and small safely get across the freeway, preventing collisions and saving lives, and so on and so on. So now, therefore, as the mayor of the city of Agoura Hills, and on behalf of the city council, I do hereby proclaim the week of October 12th through 19th, 2024, as Urban Wildlife Week in the city of Agoura Hills, and urge all residents to celebrate our natural heritage by supporting wildlife conservation, education, and responsible environmental stewardship. And again, please join us on Sunday. It's going to be a lot of fun at King Gillette Ranch, and it's a free event. Thank you. Now we will move on to intergovernmental special purpose committee and departmental reports. And we'll start with the introduction of the new Chief Executive Officer of Los Robles Regional Medical Center. And we have with us tonight CEO Phil Boutel.
Council, thank you so much for the welcome. It's a real honor to be here. I started at Los Robles about 6 months ago, and most recently I moved from Kansas City. I would like the record to show that the Royals are playing right now, but I missed it for this. No, sincerely, it's been such a gracious welcome. I live right down the street, so this was a nice trip over. And I'm glad you mentioned the wildlife crossing. That is something I tell everybody from the Midwest about. I am so impressed with your approach. But enough about me. Excited to be here. I'm really excited about what we've got going on at Los Robles. I've told a lot of people in my short time, I've learned what I love about Los Robles is it is a community hospital. But we're doing academic level work there. It's a wonderful thing for the community to have a facility that's doing first in world activity. We've got super talented providers and staff. Just yesterday we introduced to another city council our 24 newest residents, because we are involved in graduate medical education. That brings our number to 120 that we've got on our campus this year. But in addition to the staff we've got, we're focusing real heavily on the emergency care we provide. I know that was a big focus when I got here. One of the data points I like to share, when I got here, we had a walkout rate of about 6.5%, which to me is tragic. If somebody shows up to our hospital in need of emergency care, the last thing I want them to do is walk away. That's now sitting at 0.5%. We've revamped our care model. We've opened a new fast track and created better access for our community, which I think is going to pay some real dividends as we move forward. So I'll close there. I'm happy to answer any questions any of you might have, but I'm thrilled to be here. I'm thrilled to partner with you all and look forward to what we can do together for this community.
Thank you. Well, it is our community hospital, and I know most of our residents have been there for one reason or another. So thank you and welcome. We're really glad to have you, and we hope you make the city of Agoura Hills your home away from home. Well, and I mean from Westlake and from Kansas City. Yeah,
well, thank you so much.
And you know that I think tonight we're missing the Padres and the Dodgers maybe last game.
Yeah,
so
we'll
see.
The last few innings.
We might get to catch a lot. And I just want to make a shout out for Amy Commons, who is here tonight as well, and has always been such a trooper and such a fan of the city of Agoura Hills. And we're honored to always have you here in our chambers. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, I keep Amy close by. She knows everybody.
She knows everybody. She really does. And she always has a smile on her face. So
yes, she does.
That's a good thing. Great. Well, thank you again for
Madam
coming.
Mayor,
We really appreciate it. Yes, do you have questions? Absolutely. Go ahead.
I have a comment. I have comments. I first want to start with, I want to echo the mayor's comments about Amy is one of the best government affairs, community engagement managers that around. She knows everyone. So you've been so wonderful for Los Robles And I had, my wife and I had our child at Los Robles 4 months ago, and we had an amazing experience. So I want to thank you for that. And the other thing I want to highlight is the resident program and how great that is for our region, for the community. And I'm so thrilled that Los Robles is doing that because it brings doctors to our region, and so powerful. So thank you for coming here tonight. Really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it is an exciting program. As I said, we will have 120 residents and fellows on our campus this year. By next year, we'll be up to about 160. We'll have 9 cardiology fellows. These are people who are going on for training beyond their residency. We are starting an interventional stroke fellowship and an interventional cardiology fellowship as well. So it's a really exciting time. And what I love about the resident program is it really elevates the quality profile of the entire organization, because doctors who may have been practicing for the last 30 or 40 years can no longer hide behind medicine that's 30 or 40 years old. They've got to be on their best game too. So it does a lot for the entire organization and the community. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you again for being here. Thanks, Amy. Now we are going to move on to the Agoura Hills Library Quarterly Update, and we have Library Manager Nina Hull with us. Welcome, Nina.
Welcome. Is this good for sound? Good? Good? Okay. Madam Mayor, City Manager Hamburger, City Council members, and city staff. This is my October to December update. Our programming lightens up this time of year in November and December because of the holidays, and this year because of the election. However, we still managed to put out for October 32 programs in October we have planned, 29 in November, and 28 in December. Our highlights the last quarter included the Music for Babies. I'm still waiting to see you. So, oh, good. The glass fusing program for adults, which always has a wait list, and trivia, because as I mentioned last time, they like to argue with each other, so it's wonderful. The middle school book club at Lindero, a no-cost MOU, started again in September, and my teen librarian, Katie, takes that one. We were a cooling center, as most of you know, a few times this summer, including this past weekend, which was very enjoyable. We're more than happy to do it. And speaking of the Annenberg Wildlife Crossing, continues to attract families to view the various videos on the tower, as well as talk to P22. So we'll hear children screaming, they don't want to leave the mountain lion. So very important for the county library is the Banned Book Week. Started the last week of September and continues through October for us. This includes Katie's banned book display. So if you go in our fireplace room and you peek in the holes, you'll see books that some people really don't realize that had been banned. So as well as at the front of the library is the 10 most challenged books in 2023. So the county library through the month of October is also promoting freedom to read with an easel at the front of our library, so you can write with a Post-it, a sticker, how you celebrate the freedom to read. So we're encouraging anybody to fill that out. Ongoing programming wise, it's like I always tell you, I have 1,000 book clubs. We're doing children's programs and everything else. So also, just so you know, September was new library card month. And again, we do 115 new library cards the month of September. That's not digital, that's the good old-fashioned hard cards. So they continue always, every month, to have that many people get new library cards, new people. The Heritage Months are very important, and we've talked about that before. So we are in the middle of Hispanic Heritage Month now, September 15th to October 15th. So we have displays at the front of the library, and in the young adult section and the children's area. We choose programs as well to emphasize the specific Heritage Month. For Hispanic Heritage, we had a sugar skull face painting for the little ones, a bookmark weaving contest, and the middle school book club is reading a book called Across So Many Seas by Ruth Behar. For November is Native American Heritage Month with new displays, again, will be replaced at the front of the library and young adult and children's. And in this case, I give you examples of how we do our book selections. So for the middle school book, No Place Like Home by James Byrd. teens are invited to participate in a strawberry cross-stitch in that strawberries are very important to many of the indigenous cultures. Teens can also create a sunset painting by artists from the county who is using that theme because it is a very common one in the artwork of indigenous peoples. The young peoples, even the little ones, the Young Readers Book Club is reading Evil Drums by an indigenous author, and even our adult book clubs read heritage-themed books. So the Romantasy Book Club, which I don't read, is reading a book called A Broken Blade, so by Melissa Blair. And the Darkest Hour Book Club, which is a thriller, is reading Moon of the Crusted Snow by indigenous author, last name Rice, and I'm not going to ruin the first name, but it starts with W. So just so you know, it was tough to get Paul Stein this time because we went big with the FOL. So we will be having a string quintet, 5 musicians, 2 cellos, 2 violins, 1 viola. And that is now scheduled. We have it all worked out for March 15th, the Ides of March. We'll be having in your community room an excellent program. So any questions? Okay.
Questions or comments, anyone? Well, I just want to say, sitting up here, it's so impressive. First of all, it sounds like you have a program almost every day. And it makes me feel really good that you're taking on the issue of the banning of books, and that you're taking on the National Heritage Months, and that you're really teaching people in our community and throughout LA County what's important and how important reading is and being exposed to different literature.
Exactly.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
All right. Bye.
Great.
I won't run out this time, Councilmember Sylvester.
You can if you want. Okay, so next we have an update from Councilmember Deborah Klein-Lopez from the CPA, who just flew in today, and we're going to get a special report.
That's right. I literally came straight from the airport to be here tonight for the council meeting after spending 3 days in Albuquerque, New Mexico, checking out what is going to be the largest wind farm in the Western Hemisphere. So, as I mentioned last meeting, Clean Power Alliance was noted as the #1 provider of green energy in the nation. So we sell more renewable energy than any other entity in the nation, and that's for the 2nd year in a row. And we get that way by being extremely visionary with our power purchase agreements. And so we had our eye on SunZia, which has really been in the works for almost 2 decades. And once they got past a lot of the big hurdles and were ready to get customers who would commit to buy the power, we were first in line, and we are going to be the largest purchaser of the energy that comes from SunZia. And it's supposed to be operational in 2026. So we went to Albuquerque. We drove for about an hour and a half outside and saw an existing wind farm that's already there. And then next door to that is going to be this massive wind farm with SunZia. And then there will be a transmission line that they are building through New Mexico into Arizona to connect with a transmission line that already exists in Arizona that will bring it over to California. And so it is, just for scale, I wrote down a few things. My notes are a little scattered, so you'll bear with me. But it will provide 3 times the amount of power than the Hoover Dam. It's big. It's big, and it will stir $20 billion in economic development in New Mexico and Arizona. So we drove around a lot of the properties, and it's going to be the easternmost part of our power supply. So the easternmost part of CAISO, which is our independent system operator, and you would not believe how excited people were to see like a power line. Everybody was taking a picture of like this easternmost meter. It was very geeky, and we loved it. It was great. And the big thing is that it's very, very windy there at night. So, we're also dependent on solar these days for renewable energy, and so this picks up as our solar power decreases, and so it's a perfect match to our portfolio. When I went there, I said that I was coming with an important decree from my council that I needed to report back on the environmental impacts of such a massive project. So, of course, there are going to be environmental impacts on a project of this size, but they told me a lot about the birds and the mostly birds that live there. It's pretty desolate. So there are sandhill cranes, and they're tagging them they tagged them over the years to see what their migration patterns were, and they put up. Now they have UV markings that only these birds can see to keep them out of the areas that they shouldn't be in. There were pinion jays. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. I'm not. And believe it or not, a lot of bats. And so they have been studying them for years, and particularly their migrations. And so what they do is they take the blades, which really kind of go 3D, they go all over the place, and they feather them, so they move them around and they slow them down, particularly during migration, so that as the migration patterns are going through, they don't hit the blades. And then in terms of plants, they transplanted, I don't know how many, but many saguaro cacti. Look at me, cacti. And then, like we do with oak trees, they mitigate. So for every cactus that they move, they plant more. So there's transports and mitigation, a lot of native replanting, and in terms of and then for decommissioning, they have decommissioning agreements so that if years down the road there's no more need for this wind farm, they said they'll make it look like it was never there. And I saw some of the replantings of what they did, and the ranchers it's mostly cattle ranching land, so they lease the land from the cattle ranchers, and the ranchers love the roads that they build, the dirt roads that they built. So they like to say that they're going to leave it better than that it was found. And then in terms of noise, the towers are actually quieter than the wind itself. The wind there is really loud and howling, so these are actually quieter. And then the last thing I wrote down was that I really liked was, they have the blinking lights because they're so tall for planes that come through, but they don't have them on all the time. They have radars, so they only blink when something's going to come into the field. So it's not just like blinking red all the time every night. So they were really trying to be thoughtful on the environmental front, which I said I would report back to you all. So it was an exciting trip, and then we happened to be there during the International Balloon Festival, so that was a highlight of we ended up with watching the balloons. I've never seen anything like it. It was amazing. So it was a great trip, and should be proud of CPA because we're able to be, shockingly, we're able to be more nimble than the IOUs, the investor-owned utilities, which is not usually the case. It's not usually the case that government agency is more nimble than private, but because they're so regulated in a different way, we actually were able to jump on this and get great rates, and it's going to pay off for our customers in the end.
Well, thank you for that. That's outstanding. That's really good news. One question: do you know what is the success rate of transplanting a saguaro cactus?
I don't know.
It seems like it would be pretty high, almost easier to
I would think
transplant
so.
a saguaro than an oak. But
I didn't hear
be
anything that it
interesting.
was. Yeah, that's a good question.
All right,
Yeah.
good. Any questions for Debbie? Oh, come on, we could talk about this all night, you guys.
Did I do my job? Did I come back with the
Yes, you
information
came back
tasked
with really
to
good
me?
information.
Okay.
So congratulations on that. Okay, then, are there any reports from staff? Are there any reports from the City Council? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move on to public comments. This section is reserved for persons wishing to speak on items not listed on the agenda that are under the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. If you have something to distribute to the City Council, please do not approach the dais. Hand your item to the City Clerk and she will distribute to us on your behalf. Public testimony is limited to 3 minutes per speaker, and a speaker's time may not be transferred to another speaker. Persons addressing the City Council shall not engage in disorderly conduct that disrupts or otherwise impedes the orderly conduct of the meeting. I will now defer to the City Clerk.
Yes, we have 2 speakers, Alan Lazar, followed by Joshua Gray.
Come up, Mr. Lazar. Thank you. Welcome. You'll have 3 minutes to speak, ending when the red light appears on the podium. And please adjust the microphone so you're comfortable and we can all hear you, and you can begin your comments now. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam Mayor, esteemed council members, and citizens of Agoura Hills. My name is Alan Lazar, and I'm running for the LVUSD School Board, and I'm here tonight to introduce myself to the good people of Agoura Hills. My family moved to the area almost 9 years ago, and our daughters, 9 and 13 years old, are in LVUSD schools. I am passionate about education. As a Fulbright scholar and a graduate of USC, we love living in this beautiful community, and I very much enjoy being involved, giving back to our community. I've been chair of our local school site council for 7 years, and I know the strengths and also the challenges that exist in our schools today. Many of our friends are other LVUSD families, and I have my fingers on the pulse of what's going on. I also sit on the Measure S Oversight Committee and the LCAP District Committee, and last year I decided to run for school board so that I can continue to make a difference and improve our schools. So many families moved here for the excellent education, but effort and focus are required to maintain and grow educational excellence, keep our test scores high, and provide a well-rounded education to our students. The 9,800 students in LVUSD face a challenging world where new developments like artificial intelligence are going to have a profound impact on their futures. It's up to us to ensure they have the best possible education for that future. We need to ensure that our kids are safe at school. Sadly, this needs continued focus and vigilance in this area. We need to ensure fiscal responsibility so that every single cent of taxpayer money is carefully and thoughtfully looked after by the district. I have decades of business experience in the music publishing world, having built a company from the ground up, later selling it to a Hollywood studio. I sit on several industry boards, and I'm also a voting member of the Television Academy and the Recording Academy. The values we teach our kids at school are also important. Many in the LVUSD community have been alarmed at the rise of anti-Semitism globally in the past year, and I will do everything to ensure that hate of any sort has no place in our schools. Every LVUSD family and student should feel welcome and safe on our campuses. I'm very proud to be endorsed by Mayor Weber and council members Anstead, Klein-Lopez, Sylvester, and Wolf. I'm also endorsed by the mayors of the 3 other LVUSD cities, 9 other council members, and all 5 current LVUSD board members. There's much more info at my website, votealanlazar@lvusd.com. You can also order a yard sign there. And please reach out with thoughts or questions. And I humbly ask all of you for your vote for Alan Lazar for the LVUSD School Board. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming in and introducing yourself. We appreciate it. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Seeing none, my only comment would be is if you can do anything about your alma mater, fight on and get that football team to win a game. We all would appreciate it. There's a lot of us up here who would really, really appreciate a win this season. So
Excellent. I'll see what I can do.
See what you can do. Thank you for coming in.
Okay, thanks so much, everyone.
Take care. And then next we have Josh. Welcome back, Josh. We haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, the summer keeps it busy. I figured I'd start briefly with an update for all you at the dais who can't track the Dodger game right now. Mookie Betts led off with a home run, so they're in the lead right now. Got to start warm. Got to start warm for you all. But a few updates from the chamber and on tourism. Next Friday, we're looking forward to our Spotlight Breakfast series focused on education in the Conejo Valley. You can expect the panel to have the president of CLU, Channel Islands University, Moorpark College, the provost of Pepperdine, as well as the superintendents of Las Virgenes Unified, as well as Conejo Valley Unified. And then on the 24th of this month, the Chamber is having its 13th annual Taste of Conejo at the Hyatt Regency with more than 50 of Conejo Valley's most exciting and innovative food and beverage establishments. Also happy to say Leadership Conejo's 22nd class started last month here in the community room and spent the afternoon at Proactive Sports Performance. This Friday's session will be at CLU in the morning, followed by the Ronald Reagan Library in the afternoon, talking about tourism in the Conejo Valley. We're also excited to have Britt Sharon and Mary Haddad in this year's cohort. On the tourism front, since I last updated you, Visit Conejo Valley selected new logos and branding that continue to be rolled out. I'd like to extend a thanks to Ramiro for providing input on what logos and branding would be best fit to the Agoura Hills community as well, while the board was having those discussions. I'm also pleased to share that Visit Conejo Valley now has its own Director of Business Development and Strategic Partnerships, who just finished her first week on the job as of yesterday. RevPAR numbers for the tourism district and the region over the summer were unfortunately lower than anticipated. That was kind of, I don't want to say statewide, but region-wide an occurrence. However, September has seen us return to normal expectations, and our marketing spend for next summer has been adjusted accordingly so we can curb that decrease for our area next year. In the last 2 months, Visit Conejo Valley has attended the Connect RTO Marketplace in Milwaukee and Teams Conference in Anaheim, promoting Conejo Valley as a destination for both corporate retreats and traveling sports leagues. We've continued a streak of significant wins in public relations recently, with Conejo Valley being highlighted in Newsweek, CBS News, Bold Journey, Media Magazine, Idea Mensch, and additionally last month, Visit Conejo Valley was featured on KTLA's LA Unscripted with a focus on health and wellness in the area, and was filmed at Heavens Hill Estate. Recent influencers in the area include Vitor, a travel photographer who captured some really incredible photos in the area that we'll be using, that Visit Conejo Valley owns in perpetuity, and we'll be using to promote the area and a lot of the natural beauty of the area. And I just want to say, next Tuesday, October 15th at noon, the Board of Directors will be conducting the last regular board meeting before the annual retreat on November 12th at McCrae Ranch. We welcome you and any other staff from the city to join us on either occasion. To provide input or just hear more in-depth updates. With that, we appreciate the very important partnership, and I'm happy to answer any questions, but if not, we're always available.
Thank you so much. Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, you didn't tell us the name of the new Director of Business Development.
Thank you. Cicely Kind.
Cecily Kind.
Yes. She has past tourism experience with the state of Utah, as well as several hotels, nonprofits, and we really liked the broad level of experience she brought and expertise that we feel she'll be an excellent representative for the brand. Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none. Well, thank you so much. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you. Thank you all, and go Dodgers.
Yes, go blue, for sure. I wasn't saying that last night. I was so frustrated. So frustrated. Okay, so next on our agenda, we're going to go to the council consent calendar. And this section is reserved for persons wishing to speak on items on the consent calendar. I'll now defer to the city clerk.
Thank you. We have not received any written public comments, nor do we have any speakers.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the city council on the consent calendar? Anybody want to pull anything? Okay, so then I'll call a motion and a second to adopt tonight's consent calendar.
City Councilman Chris Anstead, I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
I'll second. Deborah Klein Lopez.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, will you take a roll call vote?
Councilmember Anstead?
Aye.
Councilmember Klein Lopez?
Aye.
Councilmember Wolf?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Sylvester?
Aye.
Mayor Buckley Weber?
Aye.
Mayor Buckley Weber, you have approval 5-0.
Thank you very much. Now moving on to council and staff comments. Are there any comments from staff? Mr. Hamburger is going to make some comments tonight.
Take the rare opportunity, since Ms. Brink was not able to join us this evening. I wanted to first thank her and all of our staff that was able to help out. This past weekend, we had an amazing 20th anniversary of our Race Adobe Days. I won't do Amy justice, but she gave me this long list. I'm not going to read it all, but I just want to point out that we had a great turnout for our run, our rides. Night at the Adobe is, I think, one of our highest attended events that we've had. We had the Fiesta lunch with the seniors and with everybody up top earlier in the week. It was just a great weekend for families to come out. Amy came to the rescue at the end with the water truck, with the heat coming in. So I think we had the most, I'll call it rambunctious Grand Marshal that we've ever had. But he had a great time, and I know he really enjoyed being out, and the community was really enjoyed interacting with him. So I just want to thank Amy and everybody that participated. I see Stephanie back there. But it was such a great event, and I know there's a lot of planning and behind-the-scenes things that go into effect, and just want to thank them for all their work and thank the council for coming out and supporting it.
Thank you. It was fabulous. And I don't know if you guys followed Jerry O'Connell now on Instagram, but he posted more than even Debbie Klein-Lopez has posted. There was a million pictures of Ray's Adobe Days, which I think is really exciting and made it kind of fun. Any questions or comments? Okay.
I would just like to second what city manager said, just to all the staff, because I know how much work behind the scenes goes on. And it was just an amazing 3-day event. So,
and I would add that I was very concerned that after all that work that staff does with the heat wave, that maybe people wouldn't turn out, but happily they weren't. They still came out, so it was really, really nice. So good job, everyone. Are there any comments from the City Council? Councilmember Klein-Lopez.
I just want to echo the echo. And I want to say that, you know, our staff is so good because an event that big and that long never goes 100% the way that you want to go. And we never noted, like whatever blips there were, if there was attendance or heat or whatever, the public doesn't know. We didn't see it. It was all so professional and well run. So I also want to thank everyone. And I also want to thank the communications team because the footage that we got from those events were fantastic, and I loved seeing it go out, and I think that also contributed to the buzz in the community and got people there. So I want to thank all levels of staff in their participation because it was really a success. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Anybody else? Councilmember Wolf.
I would echo. This year, it really occurred to me how much work goes into this event and how much the city staff on every level steps up to make it such an incredible community event where everyone's happy, and it's a free event where families can come and have a good time, and so much goes into it. And so I'm so appreciative for the team here, for all the work that they do to make it possible. And it's become such a cornerstone of our region, and people look forward to it. And it's just such an impressive, wonderful event. And I'm so appreciative to the whole team here for making it another extremely successful event. So thank you, guys.
Thank you. Any other comments? Councilmember Anstead?
Sure. The first thing I think I'd like to say too about Ray's Adobe Days actually is, besides a fantastic job by all the staff and everybody on the thing, I also want to thank Serious Cycling for holding the ride event. And I think they did an excellent job with that event. And it's nice to have a local bike shop in our city. Secondly, I'd like to also take a minute also to remember October 7th, and unfortunately the massacre in Israel. And I also, on that subject, would like to just pray for peace in the world. Don't want to have another world war on our hands, and I'd just like to pray for peace in this world on that. And also on the prayer theme is I'd also like to say prayers for all the people that are now going through the hurricane in Florida as well. And so those are my comments for tonight. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I know there was a lot of events on Monday, and it was a very solemn day. But what I did see at the event that I went to is that, you know, we're going to keep going. And, you know, most importantly, we want to bring those hostages home. And so I would add that to your list of prayers, to bring the hostages home. So thank you. Any other comments? So with that, then the next regular city council meeting is scheduled for 6 p.m. on Wednesday, October 23rd, 2024 in the council chambers of the Civic Center located at 30001 Ladyface Court, Agoura Hills, California. This meeting is now adjourned. Thank you, everybody.